Hello. Hey, we're live. Hi guys. So welcome to 16 Tarcy Talks Class. And today, um, Nathan, Hans, Bianca. Uh, so some of you might have noticed that there was a sudden change in topic title, and that's because uh, an hour ago, I got a message from Joshua saying na, "Ano lang." I mean, so the initial topic was supposed to be last week's topic, which was uh, basically stepping out of your comfort zone. Um, but now, after that message from Joshua, he decided to switch it with this one, the art of letting go. So since it's his topic, I am tasked with stalling until he gets here. Eh, so yeah, last topic was supposed to be stepping out of your comfort zone. We'll probably delay that to next week if I know. Honestly, I'm impressed that Josh is coming up with these titles now or these topics. Uh, that's it's the first time he's doing it. Okay, so let's see. Um, they say to stall. Before I could say something, but now I think inubos ko lahat ng mga random topics ko nung last stream. Okay, sige. So, let's just check. So Joshua brought that up. Got a message from Joshua. I know this was. Let's see. Um, he was suggesting topics all the way until a few minutes ago. Okay. But in any case, so he wanted to do the art Platingo since it's graduation season in Pisay. Um, for those of you, I think most of you are alumni in chat. Yun nga, parang this is also the around the time that you also graduated. So it's been about a year since you guys have graduated since high school. So yeah, it might be an opportune moment to talk about these things. Admittedly, I think Joshua will carry most of this conversation because I think we have different experiences in terms of the art of letting go. I'm not sure why he termed it like that, but I think he has a particular idea that he wants to run with. So, and my idea of art of letting go might contrast his. I get the feeling. I get the feeling we're going to be different and going to have different ideas of what letting go or how to do it. Okay. So I need to apparently stall for 10 minutes. Okay, so let's see. How many people are at right now? 7. Oh, Diana. So we're just waiting for Sir Q to come in. We'll probably be in about 5 or 6 minutes, and then we'll be able to start. I talk about FGO. Uh, nah, I already have one gacha game. I don't think I need another. Okay, so let's see. What can I talk about? Honestly, past week, it's just been study, study, study. I mean, trying to study. Um, so as you guys know, I'm taking my master's in Ateneo, and it's also our finals week. Well, next week is our finals week, I suppose. But we already have a bunch of papers that are expected to be completed. So, hang on, something's lagging. Let's see, I talk about news been lately. Patient this week for grade 12. suppose you guys, well, I'm seeing a bunch of grade 12 students. So, yan. Maganda na kayo ng ano, masasagot nyo. Pag nakita kayo ni Sir Q sa chat, he'll probably direct some questions at you. What do you think about letting go? You think about how do you cope? What do you think about college or work culture? Hi, Jacob. Um, Honestly, I wasn't too into it. Um, how do I say? Parang nowadays it feels like college or culture is more along the lines of kind of you have to catch them all in sense na parang you have to be involved in something because it gives you connections, it gives you something on your resume, it does all these things, and because of that value that it gives in terms of future preparation for resumes for experience, I suppose also um, they've made it harder to get into orgs when in fact I feel like the reason that you should be joining orgs is because you like what the org is doing and you want to participate. And by kind of increasing the hurdles that uh, are required in order to get the org, parang just becomes yeah, parang it becomes more of a contest of getting in, staying in. It's kind of like you hold yourself higher just because you were able to get into the specific org, rather than actually, wanting to have meaningful experiences within the org. Also, I don't like that process, like Nathan. So, um, but I think if you can really be into, parang if you really believe in kind of what the org does, then it definitely is worthwhile. It can provide you with a lot of experience. It can provide you with a lot of uh, memorable, memorable details. But you really have to be joining for the right reasons. I technically was part of an org for like, honestly, I was more active as an applicant than an actual member because so I wasn't really into orgs, but when all of my friends in college were members of PSYSE, so it's a good, it's a good org, it's a good club. They organize science camps for high school students and the like. So they do good work. And since all of my friends were PSYSC, um, they were all working on this particular event together. And yeah, I mean, I was their friend, so I was helping them out, even though I wasn't a member. So uh, I suppose I wrote the scenario of their event. So there was this kind of, they had this event and they wanted to put a story to it so that the participants could kind of live in the story. So I created a kind of spy scenario, and then parang all of the activities were themed that way. I think I did good work. So after doing that, doing the work that I enjoyed, I applied. It's just that the application process didn't put me anywhere near the work that I wanted to do. I didn't do any writing for them. And then as soon as I got in, yun nga, parang I couldn't do the work that I wanted. I suppose I could work my way up, but yeah, parang the orgs, while orgs are a service, they provide service externally. They should also be fulfilling for those who are participating. Let's see. I mean, I didn't actually, yun nga, I was more active as a non-member than a member, so I didn't actually end up there at the site of the event. So I wrote the scenario, I gave it to my friends, they submitted it, and then it was approved. So that was like my greatest involvement in one of the PSYC events. So by the time that I actually joined, I was still writing a few events. Pero yun, parang there was always uh, and yun, parang sometimes orgs can get political sometimes. Depends on the org, I suppose. If it gets big, then it's when orgs get more political. Let's see. So DLSU orgs usually my membership fee. Okay, parang that's kind of ano. I mean, it's understandable na orgs need operating cost, pero I don't know. Depends. See, it's Joshua. All right. Talk about. Okay, I think Josh's there. Okay. See. Okay. Josh, you there? Yeah, I can hear you. Uh, Hello.
Hello.
Okay. Uh, let me just adjust the scene so that they can see you. Oh, you can talk to chat.
Wag na. We don't... I meant, kailangan ba nakita yung mukha ko? Last time we had the scene na wala ako, di ba? Just kidding.
Yes, sir. Okay, there we go. Hi, Josh. So, you want to explain why you suddenly changed the topic and were suggesting topics ago?
Wait. Time out. Just to clear for everyone here that I did not change it 15 minutes before before or 1 hour before. I sent the message like 3 to 2 hours before.
Did
And then you
you?
were active, yeah, you were active on Facebook and you didn't even, hindi pinapansin ni Mark yung message ko. Sige, bahala siya pag, anyways. So, and again, at least I suggested a topic. Last time I come in blind. Eh.
No. Wait. Eto, I'm looking at the message. Because I received at 6:20 p.m.
Oh, that's 2 hours. See, it's 8:20-ish right now. So 2 hours. Anyways, good evening, everyone. Hi. I was waiting until we get 20 people inside chat before I join in, but it looks like we're not gonna make it.
Those kind of expectations, I don't know, maybe you should tweet them out para alam nila.
Yeah. The reason why I changed the topic was that, sorry, Hans. Like I know you were looking forward for the topic. As mentioned by your comment, hindi kita tinitira ngayon, as mentioned by your comment earlier. But because I think it's a bit more timely considering there's a lot of things happening right now, a lot of drama happening with regard to batch 2021. A lot of drama happening with batch 2022. What I see on Twitter with regard to their uh, step upgrade, and maybe us, since this might be our last episode. Are we saying this is our last episode?
No, we're not.
No, Hannah. Maybe not so drama, but more on like it's more in a line with your graduation that you're going to leave Pisay and not see the Pisay community ever again. Biglang gumawa ng drama, no? Anyways, well, here. Good evening, everyone. I hope you're safe and fine. This is the last week of the academic week for students of Pisay. For us teachers, is this our
No,
last week?
no, not even close.
I get a lot of advice from students saying that nagyaya maglaro after ng finals week nila this week, saying na now that they're finally free, we can finally go play games online and so on and so forth. But in my head, parang teachers have work too. Wow, naman kami. You get all the fun, but yeah. But I meant considering all the students have been working hard for their uh to reach the end of the school year. I know that they're really excited to get their well-deserved break.
Wait, are you done
For
with
us,
class?
huh?
Are you done with your classes?
Uh, yeah. With Soksay kasi, we took
No,
up
no, no.
option two.
Your own study.
Oh yeah,
Or
I finished last week, so ako din. I'm finally happy that I'm done
uh,
with my finals.
I have still
Sorry,
more 2
Mark.
more weeks in Ateneo. Anyway,
Hey, take note. I'm overdue with my lessons. Like I should have been done like 2 years ago. Anyways, with regard to that, so 2021 is graduating. 2022, I feel like they're hard. They're mourning over econ. I see that on Twitter a lot. Um, I'm not sure with 2023. I think they're just happy that they're they're finishing the school year this early, and also the grade 9 downwards. Sorry, grade 10. I think physics is really hard for them recently. Like
ten, 6.
one
Uh,
question is like immediately, sorry, like 1% of their grade. I'm not sure.
well, I mean, yeah, that's kind of tough.
uh anyway, what was I going to say? What were we talking about?
Grade
The topic?
12 drama. I don't know.
No, not retail trap, but so this is what I want to talk about. Like these are things that it can't be avoided, because especially that aside from it's going to happen, others it had happened, and therefore, what are we going to do to let go? Oh, also other things that helped me think of the topic was that uh I was watching Avatar. So for those that don't know, there was this episode about the opening of the last chakra part of Aang. In order for him to open the Avatar state freely, go in and out of the Avatar state, was that he can open his 7 chakras. He had to undergo training where he had to open the 7 chakras in his body. I'm not sure. Does Naruto have that also? Anyways, the
Different
seventh
kind of
chakra,
chakra.
the seventh chakra was the ability to let go, which was very very thought provoking. I guess it is something that is very very much uh, I would say hard and controversial at sometimes. But it's something that I believe that it's important that every person must be able to do. So that's where I'm coming from. Why I thought of this topic.
Mm, and
Oh, by the way,
fortunately,
before
fine.
anything else, Nina's here. One of our longtime members that has been always with us in our stream. Nina's here. Happy birthday, Nina! So special happy birthday from the Tarcy Talks. I don't give out birthday greetings as much as I used to, but yeah, hi. Happy birthday. Are you just 18 only now? So happy birthday, Nina. We wish you all the best. Uh, yeah. So with regard to that, Sir Tarsi will give his special dance for you.
No.
Am I disconnected? Well, I was just testing if I was disconnected because you're so quiet. Eh. Did you even greet? Anyways, so with that, let's get into the topic. It's already 8:20, and I guess this is a safe time to that we can actually start. I think we've actually lost viewers.
Okay,
So
so yeah.
how do we go
Uh,
about this? I was thinking kasi if there are a lot of things that had happened in our life, considering your age, that
your age? What do you mean?
considering our age, your age, considering that you're also graduating on, sorry, graduating. You're also, your birthday is also 29th. I forgot. So aside from batch 2021 who is having their graduation, Sir Tarcy is also letting go of his age of 32. He's now entering the age of 33.
Mali pa. Mali pa.
35? What are you?
Do you still believe the thing that I told you when I used to be? I would be older than you sometimes.
A small joke back then when we were younger. Whose birthday was it? I think it was your birthday. Uh, he got to make me believe that he was older than me by a year because it was his
Sometimes.
birthday.
Now, parang I managed to convince you that since my birthday was earlier in the year, during that span of May to November,
I
I was older than you. And then after that, parang we went back to our normal ages.
and I believed that. So, sino? Anyways, uh, but yeah, it's Sir Tarsy's birthday on the 29th. So this is a very much topic really he can really relate to.
Honestly, I don't think so. Kasi given my personality and yeah, the things concerning letting go, I don't think I've ever had much issue in terms of letting go. Do you
Exactly.
remember? Do you remember? Ano? So, I uh, a few Christmases ago, was it my birthday? Uh, I got this book. It was a gift from Nathan actually, and
Yeah, I like that book.
so it was the art of what was that? The art
Not
of
giving a
the subtle art of not giving a uh,
sorry again. What was the title?
the subtle art of not giving up. Okay, so
Oh, oh.
which was ano? It was actually it's honestly it's a really good book. I would recommend it, and yeah, I plan to have it for the kind of book review stream sometime soon. I just need to get my hands back on the copy since I lent it out. And I remember carrying it around school because I kind of read it whenever I had ano. And then
You
I
were
came
so
across.
passive aggressive with that book. Like it the book title, the title of the book was in big bold letters at the front of the uh, title page, and it said, "The art of not giving a frick." Well, that's uh, the softer version. What I'm saying, it's the F word, the F swear word, and he would face it towards people that are talking to him. So like, okay, are you passively aggressively saying that you don't care about what we're talking about right now?
No, but honestly, I didn't really mean it that way. But I like carrying it around because uh, well, it made a statement, and but it was honestly no, a really good book. Uh, but I remember carrying it around, and I remember a student commenting, "Na, sir, shouldn't you be reading the opposite book or something along those lines?" Basically, she was telling me that I don't really need help in learning how not to give, but rather, what I should be learning is how to be concerned and be more involved in all of these things. So, kasi, I suppose that book would be one of the kinds of uh, letting goes to yun nga, the subtle art of not giving and and yeah so this is more of commentary of
Yeah, yeah.
their people's perception of me and which is honestly not wrong. uh I guess I'm a little on the colder side. Well, not really cold, parang or calculating, parang reasoning out na uh I don't get too emotional. So There's also less attachment in a certain sense. And so letting go is a bit easier. But okay, so yeah, let's kind of take this as a whole. So letting go, in general, I've never really had an issue because, and
You have no emotions.
no, not in a good way, because the reason that why I don't have any issues is because I'm very passive. And so when things happen to me, it's just a case of, okay, parang things happen. And so if, so I'm thinking about, okay, I graduated high school uh, with very few friends and then even lost those friendships. And then so on and so forth. So, I mean, was I sad? I mean, yeah, definitely. Uh, it was, it's hard going through college and you basically have to restart your entire social. No? But because I was so passive, so detached na parang, okay, let's just kind of, it is what it is. I mean, I still have to go to school. I have to do things. And then by taking such a passive stance on things, parang eventually, without even realizing it, parang all the stress that I would have from uh, those things would be, I don't know, well, not forgotten, pero they wouldn't bother me as much anymore. So, yun nga, parang when, so I kind of contrast it to a very good letting go in which a person is involved, both entirely, emotionally, and yet when he knows that it's time to, it's time for this part in life to end, then he's able to gracefully let go of the thing and move on to the new thing. Whereas,
Wait,
yeah,
wait, wait. This is based from what you believe, or this is based from the book?
no, this is more of what I believe.
Okay.
So, but what I've been doing and which I'm trying to be better at is, yeah, say,
Oh, oh, whoa, wait. Before you get to that part, hold on. We have an advertisement break. No, just kidding. The structure of how I wanted this episode to be was that we share the things that we we had to let go. Like, what were those experiences? Like, you were already there. You got there. You got to that point. But then on the latter part of the episode, that's when we get to the uh, how we were able to cope, or how were we able. What were the things that we did in order to actually let go, and learn from it. So there are a lot of things that had happened in Sir Darcy's lifetime in that span where he's going to have his birthday on Saturday. Um, but sometimes there are big ones, but there are a lot of small ones as well. And if we go through all the small ones, like event resolution, event resolution, I feel like we're going to lose our crowd that fast. uh, but before what I wanted to say is that maybe all of us, even chat, please, help us out. You could share the things that what were the things that were so hard to let go of, and later on we'll get to the part where how are you able to figure how are you able to go through it, or are you still going through it, or is it something that you're still holding on that you can't let go, right? So Mark did mention that in his past experiences was that um, friends were one of the things that were hardest for him to friends. Yeah, right. You said friends, right?
Mm, friends,
Okay.
relationships, you know.
How about leaving high school?
Well, I mean, my high school experience wasn't exactly the greatest, and I knew it. Um, so, I mean, there's this general nostalgia, pero yun nga, it, suppose it wasn't very hard for me to move on from high school.
So there you have it. The example of Sir Tarcy is that if you don't have a great experience in high school, you can easily let go. But how about for the others that might have had a great high school experience?
And that's definitely
um,
going to be harder.
like maybe you could also ask Sir Nathan how it was for him, and also our alumni. Was it hard for you to let go of your high school experience, especially for batch 2021? Also batch 2020. I think letting go was harder for them because they didn't get to see each other at the end of the school year, which was something that all graduating students kind of want to see, like their last school, the teachers that they had taught them, their classmates, their batchmates, before finally letting go at the end of the school year. Um, Sir Nathan also might have had a different experience for his batch. For me, high school was an all boys school, so we're kind of cool about it. Plus, same like you, it's not that I didn't have a great high school experience, but I had a great Barcada experience. Like we were very, very tight, considering we went through a lot. My high school Barcada was that we went through CAT training together. We went to hangouts together. Like literally, every afternoon we would just visit each other's houses because we were within the village. Uh, it wasn't much of a goodbye for us, considering that all of us actually went to DLSU. So it was kind of like an extension of our experience from high school to college, which was it gave me an easier experience. But for those others, for some of our barkada that we weren't able uh, to join us in the LSU because they got into other schools, we still got to meet them in our. I think we used to meet up monthly and so on and so forth. But it was a good transition for us. Nothing much missed during high school. Although now that I'm working, past college, past masters, past now that I'm working, I kind of miss the carefree attitude that was once high school. Like, oh sorry, for my high school, it was super carefree. Like to the point that you can actually do your assignments the break before the subject. That it was that carefree. We didn't have like subjects like research. We didn't have like everything was so fun. Especially like we'd have weeks off in order to practice for our like a dance our programs. So many programs in our school. Yeah, so uh, not much of a high school experience for me. So yeah, that was one thing. Again, for Mark, another experience that might have a you might find difficulty letting go.
I told you this is a very compatible topic with me, but say, in, eh, this is another.
Okay, while Sir Tarcy is thinking of one.
Keep going, keep going.
Another experience for me was that it's very superficial, but I think some of you might be able to relate to. Uh, there are when I'm very very much into a book or a series that I really 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 like super duper like. There are some instances that I just can't let go of it. Like I'd be stuck at the last episode, like the episode before the last episode. Like I don't want it to end. Uh, so like one experience was I used to watch. I only got to watch Friends during law school. Like whenever I would do my case digest, it's mostly copy and writing it on a notebook. I would watch, listen to Friends, and to the point that I got really, uh, I I really got addicted. I hung on to it. It was really really nice. I like the comedy. I like everything about it. To the point that it got to the last episode of season. How many seasons did it have? 10 seasons yata sila eh.
Yeah, something like that.
Um, at the last episode, like I really didn't want it to finish. So what I did was that I binge watched all the way from first episode season 1, all the way up to again up when I reached to season 10. So that when I reached to season 10, I was kind of tired na. Okay, let's get this over with. I think I'm ready. This also happened to me when I was reading the Harry Potter books. There was a part at book 7, like at the part after the battle, and it's not spoiler alert, I guess, considering that it's been ages ago. uh, with regard to Harry Potter, before the prologue, that part before the prologue, I would just really stop there, and I had given myself like several days before I could start the sorry, not the prologue, the epilogue, because it for me. I knew that this is the end. This is this is an end of the saga. This is an end of the series. Oh, by the way, the reason why it felt so heavy for me was because I kind of binge read the whole Harry Potter series after college. Like that period between college and law school, I was just bumming around. I just went through a lot of books that I had missed back then. So yeah, it was really hard. Although during that time I was going through a breakup as well. So maybe that was also another reason why I didn't want it to end. So before I go on with my next example, Sir Darcy, maybe Mark, maybe you have another example that you could share with us.
I mean, I'm trying to base my examples off of your examples, but I can't relate. I mean, hanging on to a series. I mean, I'm definitely a fan of some series. Not going to mention because you might find my fanfics. Pero, um, pero I don't, and I mean, I can recall parang being, yun nga, I'd really watch out for all the news that would come out. Parang I'd be excited whenever there any news drops and all of these things. Pero, I mean, like purposefully prolonging the time that it take to, ano I can't think of any instance that I did at. Okay, let's try to think. So I'm going to have to go about this differently. Okay, so things in which uh, which were harder for me to let go, or I'm noticing that it's kind of hard to break off in a certain sense. Um,
Ooh,
I don't know.
break off like heartbreak off.
No, no, no. Okay, okay, so
What's
uh,
a break off?
no, no, as into okay, eto. So that the thing I'm thinking of is, um, I so you guys know, or I hope you guys know, might not be obvious, pero I really enjoy teaching. And the aspect of teaching that I really like is the interaction with students. Uh, I could have gone to a lab after graduating from physics, but I decided that to see the same few people day in, day out was not something that I wanted. I wanted to be able to interact with people, and I enjoyed teaching kids. I did some volunteer work. So I wanted to teach because I knew that if through teaching, I would always be in contact with a lot of different people. So
Oh,
I started.
you like teaching, but isn't it most of the time that you teach, you're facing the whiteboard?
Okay, fine.
Like
I
whenever I
like
see you, whenever
I
I
like
sit in class or I'm in the class, the hidden class behind your classroom, watching through the one way. It's a one way window, right?
no, it's not one way. I can see you.
Oh, really? Oops.
Yes.
Okay. I always see you. You're pointing like that, and but I was mocking you. Like I was also doing like that
Yeah, I can
on
see
the
that too.
oops.
Anyway,
Okay.
so maybe not the teaching. I like the interaction. So admittedly, I'm not. I might not be that great of a teacher because apparently I'm always facing the board and all of these things. But honestly, I think I do better teaching when I'm next to the student and working with them. I'm going to say pointing out errors, pero and working with them next to them. And yeah, it's great interaction, especially the in between classes and all of these things. And why this channel started because I wanted to increase interaction. So okay, going back to letting go, sometimes it can be hard to let go because uh, I have to remember that I okay as how do we say as much as people publicize appreciation for teachers, na parang uh, saludo kami sa mga teacher, etc., etc. And I mean, yeah, it's definitely an appreciated sentiment. At the same time, I also realized that I'm only your high school teacher, and that you will have many other teachers in the future. You will have many other friends in the future, and sometimes I have, because I've become good friends with some students, uh, I kind of have to make sure that I establish an appropriate distance so that it's not like I'm clinging on to the student teacher relationship that we have. Because once you graduate, you are no longer my student. In fact, I suppose once you move on to a higher grade level, parang, most of the student teacher should already diminish by then. So every now and then, it gets kind of hard because there are some students that I'm extremely friendly with, and I kind of have to measure how much of an interaction I keep with them because yun nga, any time that they spend with me, they're chatting with me, they could be spending with a new teacher, a new friend, and all of these things. So in that sense, parang those are things na it's a bit hard to let go, or at least it's a bit hard to gauge the kind of letting go that I need.
That's the reason why we ghost our the students that have finished grade 10, that are already SYP. Because, well, actually, I kind of feel the same way. Like, I lessen my interaction, especially I feel like 2020 felt this when I interacted with 2021, because when they had moved on to their SYP, uh, I had kailangan ko talaga tutukan yung 2021. And 2020, I had a lot of students that I was kind of also close with. But I kind of felt like you have to be talking to like what you said, time spent with me, you could be spending it with your other Sockside teacher, which I think they really needed to get to know, which was Sir Vlad during that time, because uh, Sir Vlad is really a great person. You get to learn a lot from him, especially not only inside of class, but also outside of class. I know a lot of our maybe 2022 students might feel a bit uh stung by Sir, how econ was this school year. But I promise you, Sir Vlad was a whole different person before this pandemic. Like, a lot of teachers had to change with regard to the setup, and actually same with regard to me. The thing that I had, one of the biggest things that I had trouble letting go was my teaching style. My teaching style was purely always class interaction. Like, if there's a simple reading in class, like the lesson purely focuses on the reading, I'd always try to come up with something physical so that the students will be able to move around, or try to come up with a discussion on or a hot topic so that they can relate to. But with this pandemic, it was very, very much hard for me to let go, especially my prisoner's dilemma, my most favorite activity that I always love doing in my class, which got students to cry. As much as I feel bad about it, making students cry, it's something that I really, really like doing, and something I had to let go for the school year. So it was hard adjusting. I know it's hard adjusting for the learning in the pandemic, but I guess with the channel that we've established, I guess for teachers too, it was kind of hard for us also to adjust. Sir Tarcy's, your favorite scene of Sir Tarcy's back, and the whiteboard, and my class activities that I had done inside school. So yeah, that's one thing that we had to let go. But we'll get to the remedy part at the end of the uh episode. Stay tuned. Anything else, Mark?
That's honestly the most I can think of. Parang,
What? Letting go of
okay.
relationships.
Uh, I mean, as in you're talking about romantic, or
Well, you did say romantic. I guess that's what you wanted to talk
I
about.
mean, it was cut off for me, so
So it was not on your side. It was it was one way. That's why you couldn't do
like
anything
like
about
I
it.
said, I'm very passive in these things. Na it's normally something that happens to me. Na rather than me letting go, it's more of the situation makes me let go. So yun nga, parang so we were talking about graduation. I mean, we all have to graduate. So it's not like I can stay behind. So I kind of just okay. I mean, it's happening. Let's go with it. relationship, okay. Parang you don't want to continue. I mean, I can't continue this relationship on my own, so okay, might as well. Well, not might as well, pero it sucks. Pero um, what can I
See,
do?
apparently we got the master of the art of letting go already here. Man, for me, my breakup was really really rough. Like I was uh so confused on what happened. Anyways, before we get to that, I also want
Sige,
to know to figure out how our students were able to let go of their relationships during the school year. Like sometimes I'd talk to some students and they say na I'd ask them, "Ba't kayo nag-break?" Or ano nangyari? Like sobrang ship ko sila, like super duper ship ko sila. And then suddenly sasabihin nila, nag-break na pala sila. Then the only reason that gave me is that nag-summer eh. Parang, huh? Nag-summer? Well, in relation to summer was that they would say na uh, they got distance from, they didn't get used to not seeing each other every day. They didn't get used to communicating with each other every day. And suddenly, yun, by the time na bumalik sila sa school year, it's like they're strangers again. So maybe our chat here, the people from our chat, would be able to share their how they were, oh sorry, if they had a breakup experience also in school.
well, I mean, it doesn't have to be breakup. Anything of them letting go with
Let me
something.
go. Yeah, let it go.
It can be a grade. You kept on pestering the teacher na, sir, baka pwedeng uno to, and so on and so forth.
How about you?
Hmm?
In relation, oh wait, sige, in relation to the grade, did you ever feel bad about the grade that you didn't get?
I mean, I definitely felt bad if I failed an exam or I felt like I should have done better. But it's not that there was no hanging on, so to speak, na parang arguing every point na I could have gotten it, I could have gotten points here or no. So it's always, okay, this is the grade that I have. I go over it. Is there anything that can be corrected? If there is, then okay, I have a right to bring it up. So there's still something, something lingering that needs to be cut off, clean, or resolved. But if there's nothing, I'm not going to make one. So I'm not going to an issue out of thing that I see doesn't exist. So if my grade is a 2 out of 10, or then it's terrible. But uh, that is it is what it is. And the only thing that I can do is work for the next exam.
How about thesis? Remember, you mentioned in our past episode was that uh, in your thesis defense, it was something that had delayed you.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah.
did you feel any hangover of the? Did you feel any hangover, like feeling bad about what had happened? Like, how long was that period of time before you were able to get over it?
Let's see, about a week, maybe two.
What? Okay, never mind.
Max
Sige,
three,
sige.
max of three. Kasi
Damn.
no, the thing is, yun nga, uh, I mean, I was definitely feeling bad, and that was one of the longest time that I felt bad about a single thing. It's just that if I continue to let myself feel bad, I would have flunked out of UP. I still had other subjects that I had to submit for. In fact, I was dangerously close to getting flunked out of UP in that sense. Kasi parang had I stopped attending classes and had I stopped, kasi
So you were forced
yeah, parang
to
I was
actually
kind of forced
get
to,
over it.
parang if I continue to hold on to this, parang I'm just gonna get dragged down, and then things will get a lot worse.
Ooh.
So
Yeah, I get what you're saying. But Nathan actually raised a good question here. Is letting go equal to moving on?
hmm, not necessarily. I don't think so. Moving on implies kasi that you're trying something of that. Suppose you're getting something else to replace what that thing once occupied. So if it's a relationship, I suppose it's getting a new
A
boyfriend or
new
girlfriend.
girlfriend?
I mean, I know.
Really?
Um, on, or at least parang being open to the idea of dating again.
uh,
If it's
as opposed to
so if you've just
letting go.
let go, then parang okay, parang uh, no more negative feelings, no, or parang not letting it drag you down emotionally. Um, but you're not, I suppose, ready to uh, parang, entertain the idea uh, of a new thing.
Really? Huh. Okay.
I don't know.
That's weird. I
Maybe
was thinking
it's
like
the same.
the Aang part. Remember when we were talking about the Avatar? Aang uh, wasn't the seventh chakra more of was letting go really like to actually understand that all of these things are just part and it happens in your lifetime, but you don't have any control over it. That's why you have to learn to let go. But that's the remedy part. We'll just put that discussion in a bit later on, at the 9 p.m. mark. But another question I kind of wanted to ask Nathan also was that since we talked about me and Sir Tarcy, Mark talked about um, letting go of our past. Sorry, yeah, letting go of our past teachings. The greatest one who had actually let go of his teaching was Nathan. So maybe Nathan could share with us his experience on how he let go of teaching in order to pursue something else. So that's Sir Nathan in the chat for us in a bit. That we'll also be reading in a bit. Before that, we were talking about something. You were um, what were we just talking about? I should have a transcript here so that I can track what we were saying. Because in my mind, I've been preparing all these other things. See, this is the problem when I'm the one preparing the the topic because my mind's messed up as opposed to when you come up with a topic, my mind's just straight flow, straight flow, straight flow. In terms of relationship, I guess, man, for you, you were able to let go agad. Me, I was the one who was dumped. So but that's weird. Both of us were dumped.
Yeah.
So how come I? Oh, that's another thing I wanted to ask. Is it because that you feel bad, like you get to grieve so much about it, means that you cared about it so much? Like for you, would it like moving on after how many weeks or not
Wait,
caring after how many weeks mean that you didn't invest as much or you didn't care as much in that relationship?
I mean, wait, so you're accusing me of parang
No, no,
not
I mean,
being.
I mean, could that be a possible interpretation?
I would say na definitely it could be a sign, an indicator, pero I don't think that if you see someone move on or let go quickly, parang going to say immediately na they didn't care. So it could be an indicator. So if a person takes a while, then you could reasonably assume na it's partly because yun nga, it it's a big it means a lot to them. But I think that's not the only factor determining the length of time, quote unquote, mourning,
Yeah,
or even the severity of it's one of the factors.
I do agree. Actually, a lot of people make this misconception that with regard to mourning, the length of how long you mourn, it's equal to the length of how much you've invested so much into that thing that you've lost. Which, although it's hard for us to stray away from that practice. It does happen, but I do agree with you what you're saying. That it doesn't necessarily equal to the amount of time you mourn. It's the equal amount of time it mattered to you. But for me, from my past relation, that was my first girlfriend kasi. And it was so hard because it was so sudden then for me. I guess I can relate to the students with regard to the summer that they said na suddenly they didn't get to interact with each other and so on and so forth. So that's why. Uh, Plus, it was a great wall for me. I had to hurdle a great wall, and that yun. Well, for those that don't know, in the LSU, the Great Wall is called that you're a It's in a relationship between a Filipino and a Chinese person, a pure Chinese person. So you have to go over that Great Wall of China. But for me, I did it. That's why I chose law school. Choose the biggest thing that could distract me. Except during the first week. That's where I got to meet Nina. So uh, I guess I was able to move on agad. No naman. I'm glad that we were able to become friends first before we actually got into a relationship. Is she here? I wonder if she's here. Anyways,
Nathan replied.
yeah, Nathan replied. Go ahead.
So Nathan says, I don't really consider me leaving Pisay as letting go of teaching. I still want to come back, and I left mostly with the intention of coming back as a better teacher. He's still
Yeah.
clinging.
Wow. Is that what you got? Ako naman, that was more on the remedy part that there's a reason why he left and that
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
a
yeah.
reason for him to hold on
That's definitely
because he wants to be better. Grabe naman. See, we have very different opinions regarding to this topic. Maybe we should have coordinated first. Script reading. We should have a script reading before every episode.
No, this is better. This is better.
Anyways, um, I keep on evading the question. It took me months before I was able to move on. So I I got into reading a lot, which got me thinking that maybe kakayanin ko rin law school dahil marami akong magbasa during this breakup. I really cloistered myself in myself. I didn't talk to my friends because all of my friends were also friends with her, my ex girlfriend, and I kind of felt like I'd rather have my friends be there for her than for me because mas kaya ko. Which in truth, hindi ko yata ka pala kaya. But I think I managed with my books. And everything else, well, I'm glad. Everything worked out well in the end. But that's for later on. We'll mention later on in the remedy part. We still have 3 minutes to go for that. Any more experiences that we could help share that we are actually relatable, that we've actually gone through these experiences of letting go, that we're not God like Mark here that can, like a flick of that, wala na. Wala na yung feeling na yun. Mark, are you there?
Sorry. Yeah, sorry. I'm in chat.
Is there anything? Oh,
Uh,
okay. Missed opportunities. Okay. Another thing. One of the things that one of the biggest heartbreaks also, not in terms of relationship, but in terms of realizing who I am as a student, was that when I failed the bar exam, uh, it took me a long time to cope with that. And I think it was batch 21 that saw the depression side of me during that time. Also 2022, 2020 also yata. Like I really, really grieved so much. Sorry, so much that it actually poured into my work. I had to take days off, and I couldn't pick up a book after that. Like when I found out the results that I was short 5%, it really struck me hard. Second take, I was very, very sure, confident in myself that I should have passed. I was short 3%. Then the third time was much harder exam. Again, much harder exam every year. I was kind of confident because my confidence was shattered from the first exam. So I was kind of confident that I would have passed, but I was short of 0.25%. So uh, the hardest one for me to get over was the first one because it really shook my confidence into who I was as a person and as a student. Like, was I not giving it my all? Was I doing something wrong? I was regretting choices such as teaching at that school year that maybe I shouldn't have took up teaching at that school year. But later on, I got actually good things out of it also. But we'll get to that at the later part. But yeah, heartbreaks because of grades. Not getting to schools that you really wanted to get into. Um, losing the scholar. I lost. I got kicked out from my college. I had to transfer to Benilde, and that was really it really struck me hard as well during that time. Oh my gosh, nilalagtad ko how bad a student I am to our audience. Buti lang 23 lang sila. Ba't bigla sila dumadami? But yeah, those were hard breakups, and it was really really hard to move on. And yeah, some of our students were able to see that how bad it was for me. Um, what else? There was another thing I wanted that we could have talked. Oh yeah, missed opportunities. Before we get to the second part of our discussion, missed opportunities. Do you feel bad that you had any missed opportunity because of this pandemic?
I mean, I really should have told you at the start. This isn't a compatible topic for me. I mean, okay. In terms of missed opportunities, what are the missed opportunities that the one that I missed the most, I suppose, is the opportunity to actually interact with students. That I'm teaching to an a blank screen na hindi nagawa ng camera na hindi nagre-respond. So it's definitely difficult. Part of why I just transferred to asynchronous learning so that way, parang it's easier to handle that way. So yeah, that was a missed opportunity. I have a group of students, and so I have 140 students that I could have met and gotten closer to this year, but I don't even know their faces. And I have a homeroom of 32 students that I should have been meeting and getting closer to personally. But I can barely start an activity with them. So it's definitely a big missed opportunity in my book. Do I feel bad about it? I mean, yeah, I mean, I do feel bad about it, but at the same time, there's also this is the current situation, and feeling I don't want to say this, but it feels like I'm devaluing any emotions that. So I would suggest that everyone in chat don't do what I do. Kasi I'm definitely not a good example for this, pero yun nga, I've always been the type na okay, I mean, stuff sucks. It's definitely something that I don't want to happen. In the words of someone, there's this person here in this house na sometimes he'd say, ano ngayon?
Grabe.
So I mean, it's more on the remedy part na parang I can choose to just let my emotions overwhelm me, or I can try and do something about it. So doesn't mean that I'm not sad anymore. It just means that I'll try to at least devote my energy into doing something else, changing the situation, doing something different, changing my mindset, and all these things.
How about but that's in relation to work kasi. Although your work life balance is really off the charts. Anything personal, like maybe there was a hobby that you wanted to try, a place that you had wanted to go, maybe go to another country. Was there any plan that was
I'm trying to think pa. So I remember I think I carried the dream all the way until college. The dream was that I would. This was I think before I decided to become a teacher. So I'd work a proper either office job or lab job, normal hours. I was kind of interested in cooking at the time, so parang sabi ko, I'll be a kind of pseudo professional chef during the night, parang, and then I'd also be parang in the time in between that, I'd write short stories and be a published author. So And then aside from that, other hobbies, so things like musical instruments, which I don't even get to touch anymore. Uh, those are definitely missed opportunities. Uh, I mean, do I wish that I could kind of just bring out the saxophone and belt out a song as if I had practiced it for 5 years? Yeah, definitely. But I can't. And yeah, and the mere fact that I can't, uh, uh, yeah, it's like probably a really bad example for this, because yeah, it kind of just boils down to me telling myself that, I mean, why devote so much energy being sad about this thing that already is?
Yeah, yeah. Okay, I understand. So nothing pandemic related, no hobby that got
Pandemic
pushed back
related.
because of the related
I mean, I'm on
or
the
thing that you wanted.
computer. I mean, even before the pandemic, parang 80% of my time was already on the computer anyway. So
So not much difference. No, kasi like I remember one thing Mina really wanted to do before the pandemic had happened was that she wanted to go to South Korea. And I actually wanted to join her also, but she was able to process her visa ahead of me. So maybe I said maybe sige, and she wanted to actually experience traveling alone. So okay, I didn't want to deprive her of that. I said siguro habol na lang ako somehow after the results come out. The thing is, she got na-deny yung visa niya was because the pandemic was starting at that time, and then her dream of going to South Korea got pushed back and pushed back. So it sucked. It really sucked. Especially for me, I kind of wanted to join her also in South Korea, especially with all the K dramas that I've been watching and so much K-pop as well. Oh my gosh, I wanted to see SM so much. Not our SM, the SM in in South Korea. So yun, missed opportunities because of the pandemic. It actually is real and it does happen a lot. Um, Maybe you couldn't find a school to enter to, you couldn't find a job opportunity as well for others. But for our students, I guess the biggest thing is that what they miss is their interaction with their classmates. Uh, that's why it sucks in this pandemic, especially with the new news that saying that online schooling is the way to go, is the new norm. So, anyways, okay, we're now at to part two of our discussion. Transition, please.
transition to the same screen.
We should have. Haven't we upgraded after how many episodes we've done? We haven't.
I mean, I've always advertised this as a low effort thing. I've already put in the effort, so
Reset. Okay. We have to be clear that we're not psychologists. We're not mental health experts in this scenario. Again, in relation to what we do in this channel is how teachers, us three teachers with Sir Nathan. Um, should we say of Pisay to be specific or what? Just of
in
how
general,
we in general. Really, you'd say other teachers also share the same view as us?
probably not. Pero we're not, we're trying not to specify ourselves as a Pisay channel.
Yes, that's why we are from Wells Fargo, Bank of America. No, anyways. um, so what we say here isn't something that it's not that we're going to say we don't advise, but this is how we were able to cope with the different experiences that we had mentioned earlier.
We aim to present more of an example rather than the correct answer, I suppose.
Yes, and if it be a good example, that's good. If it be a bad example, that's best because you get to learn from our bad experiences and learn what not to do in the future. A lot of those come from me, I think, because Sir Tarcy is just not giving anything today right now.
I mean, sige, next time we'll choose a topic na,
That you're bad at your
yeah.
your barbershop quartet. No, it was really
Uh,
good. People should see it actually. Okay.
okay, moving on.
In relation to graduation, sige. Any what are your thoughts with regard to the graduation? If our students would have any fear about moving on to their next stage of life, which is college. That's you, Mark.
Wait, sorry.
Hello.
I got distracted. What was it? Paulit.
See, okay, we have to send. Okay, everyone in chat, ask for the video para so that he can so you can pressure him to do it. Show the video there. The
Sorry, what was that
question
again?
was the question was what can we offer uh to our graduating students now that they're moving on to their next stage of life, which is college. Also,
Okay,
our students and our alumni, if you could help us, because we have students here that are also that are of batch 2021 are graduating, and some of our students alumni here are 2018, 2019, and 2020 that could share how are they able to cope.
okay. So it's good that you're letting me go first because uh, you're probably going to have the more uplifting answer.
Okay, go.
Okay. Um, this is going to sound so harsh, pero it works for people like, well, I mean, I suppose, yeah, it works for me. I'm going to say that, and I wouldn't exactly call me normal in terms of my approach to these matters. um, yeah. So because the way that I always go through things is that I always think of uh, terms in, okay, how do I make the most out of things? I suppose if we're talking even more colder terms in terms of things like efficiency, parang how do I get the most out of it? And I've realized for some time now, I'm not sure how long or uh, how long ago it started or when I started developing it, is that well, bad things happen, and I can't do anything about the bad things that happen to me. They are out of my control. So the entire world is out of my control, honestly. So I can't control what my school does. I can't control what my parents do. I can't control what my brothers do as a parent in this stream. And I'm getting called out every so often. But what I can control is my response to them. And I suppose you guys hear this a lot. I suppose you watched a bunch of different YouTube videos that say similar to the same thing, in which some things like you are the master of your own ship, you are the master of your own destiny, etc., etc. And honestly, I hate those videos. They sound cheesy. They sound like they're trying to hit a wide audience without actually caring about uh, the people who are actually looking for help. Uh, Unfortunately, it actually does work for me. uh, the fact is, yeah, I mean, all I can really do is what I can do. So, um, yes, I could be feeling sad because of certain things that are happening. I could be sad because I failed an exam. But uh, what is the appropriate response to this? How do I make the most out of what happened to me? Um, so, or I suppose I always ask myself, what is the point of this particular action that I'm doing right now? In the terms of letting go. Kasi when I'm stuck in that quote unquote that mood, that depressive state, I just go over and over and over and over again those mistakes that I made, the things that I could have done, and so on and so forth. Eventually, I reach a point that what the heck is this reflecting doing for me, other than making me feel bad? So once I kind of recognize that it really doesn't do anything for me. I mean, assuming that I've already obtained all the lessons that I can from uh, whatever wrong that I did or missed opportunity or uh, whatever event that happened. So once I've okay, I've learned what I can from this, and then I do my best to set it aside. It's definitely not as easy as parang you just forget about it. It's like it sticks to your hand. Parang the more when you try to push it away, you find that it sticks, and then parang you kind of have to, that weird thing that you have to do when you have trying to remove something sticky. You kind of rub your hands, try, and then you find that it sticks to your other hand, and then try to find some other wall to scrape it against, or uh, some place
Are
to
we
wash your
talking
hands.
about kulangot?
No, not particularly, but
That's something sticky in your hand. You pass to the other hand, and then you have to smear it on the wall somehow. Anyways, yeah, I get what you're saying.
so I mean, those emotions are like that. They stick to you, and sometimes the more you put an effort into trying to forget about it, the more that you remember it. But yeah, so eventually, kind of figured better rather than putting an effort into forgetting things into uh, it's just to work on the next thing that will that could take its place, or not even take its place, just work on something that different. Okay, but one thing I would like to point out that I hope will give a positive message in this is that as bad as things were, despite all the bad experiences that have happened to me and will continue to happen to me, I still appreciate them for what they are because they taught me a lot of things.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, I mean, I always, uh, honestly, my prime example for this is in my high school relationship. And yeah, nowadays I give advice that yeah, don't get into a relationship in high school. At least not exclusive. Parang it's always more of learning to get to know yourself better. And yun, yeah, parang sometimes I think, okay, so if I were to go back in time and would I change what happened? Would I not into a relationship? I can't really say that I won't. Kasi I learned so much from that mistake of mine. So I can't even really call it a mistake. Kasi as much as
Wow.
so- I learned so much. I learned so much.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Learning
so
experience.
so even those things that we feel drag us down, in the end they bring us a lot of strength. And okay, so I think
Now,
that's it.
now I remember when you said about going back in the past. Remember I was messaging you. I needed 10 minutes because I was on the toilet earlier. Uh, I was thinking about what to add more to this conversation. I remember if you if you um, watch any show that talks about time travel, it always touches on the topic that uh, you really can't change the past aside from the scientific explanation about it. But the girl who left through time, Steins Gate. These are things that you really can't change because you notice that when they come back to the future, it's way worse from what they had wanted, or that it becomes something much different from what they had expected. But they didn't get the thing that they had wanted, and then they just realize that when they come back, in order to just realize that they really couldn't change anything about it, it's they understand later on that it had to be done because it was a learning experience for them. Oh my gosh, I really watched that. I love that anime, The Girl Who Left Through Time. Aside from that, it was an exam in my class, my Japanese class back in college. We had to translate it. No subtitles. Oh my gosh, it was so hard. But uh, like it was for me, it was all context clues. To that. I think she was crying because this happened. But aside from that, yeah, like what Sir Tarcy said, it's all about it's a learning experience. You may call it as a mistake. That's true, but these are learning experiences that help build you into becoming a better person, and you realize where you want to be. So like when it comes to breakups, you suddenly start realizing what was it that you value and why was it that there in that relationship, why you weren't able to make it work. uh Maybe there was in relation to like my previous relationship, it was family was more important for her uh than our love. Oh my gosh. No, than our relationship. It was something that she needed, she couldn't hide, because we were really hiding it, not only from our friends but also from her family, because it was hard. We know that she was gonna get into trouble if anyone found out that she was dating of my descent, of a Filipino. Ayun. But in relation to what Sir Tarsi was saying, you really went away from what I was asking. Wrong
But
tangent. I was talking about how about our graduating students.
oh,
How would you help them
well, I
ease
mean,
their?
I don't
Go
know,
ahead.
parang graduate, as in what I specifically can do, or parang my advice to them. Yeah.
Okay. For me, maybe the fear stems out from, okay, there are things that why we hold on to things that we aren't ready to let go of, because we have this image of what could have been, or something that too afraid to do, but you have to do later on, and you're just trying to delay it as far as possible as you can. So in relation to, maybe there was a person that you weren't able to talk to the batch, someone you weren't able to make up with, make up, not make out with, okay, make up with. um there are things that you could have done sana with these people, but didn't happen because, yeah, graduation, you feel like it's the end. But thing is, kasi a lot of us keeps on thinking that the big moments are the end. It's like it's an end game for all of us, and it's the same feeling that I had felt when I failed the bar. uh there's a lot of regret for me. True. There's a lot of shame that carries with failing the bar exam, which a lot of people keep on saying there's nothing to be shameful about. But for me, I still feel a bit of that shame because I felt like I could have done better. But it's mostly because I didn't accept in myself that there are things that I could have studied more onto. Like this meme going on in right now in batch 2022, that they're talking about this meme that questions on the test exam. That was there's this ball way at the park, and questions on the exam. It's just way apart. And in that scenario, yeah, like what Sir Tarsi said, there are things that are really outside of what you can control. Um, yes, maybe you could have studied more, or sometimes you might realize that it's really, no matter how much you had studied, you couldn't have prepared for that scenario. It was really out of your control. And that's one thing. Yes, you can't control that, but you can control your emotions. Like what Sir Tarsi said, I don't want to get into that things that saying that you control your emotions, you're the master of your own. But it's what we call the spheres of influence. When you understand that there are just things that are outside your control, you get to understand what are the things that are most important and what you can try to work on that are within your control. Like with relation to my past girlfriend, she really valued her family, and that's something I couldn't control. I know that was important for her, and I respected that. That's why, as much as I would say it was mutual break off, uh, I had to accept that that it wouldn't really work out, and maybe I could find that same amount of love in someone else, which I'm happy that I do experience that same amount of love, or maybe even more with Mina right now. Uh, I was happy. You see that it's not the end. There are a lot of things that may happen after, and that's kind of one of the things that we we always try to encourage people whenever they feel at the brink of ending themselves and ending. Should we pursue this topic or stop at this
Mm,
moment?
uh,
Maybe okay. If you're feeling
yeah.
those things, talk to us in personal capacity. But in that scenario, there's always a chance, regardless of what happened. And take note, me, fail the bar 3 times. You have to go back to law school for 1 year in order to relearn everything that you've learned, and then only can you take the bar exam again. And that was for me. I thought after the failing for the third time, I said, fudge, this is the end. Ayoko na. Like, I was, it was really dark. I was really in a dark place at that time because I felt like all that struggle, all my effort, it's still not enough. So why was it? Was it still even worth it? And to go through law school again, I felt like back then, hindi ko kaya yan. I can't take up law school and work at the same time. I can't I can't do that. I can't compete with someone younger than me. I can't face, which maybe it's a pride thing. I can't face that maybe someone younger can keep on doing these things that I can't do. It maybe it was a pride thing, I guess. But I went through it. It was really weird going through it. Like I didn't believe that I could actually go through another whole school year of refresher. And through that refresher, it kind of humbled me because I realized there are a lot of things that I had learned new. Oh, okay. There are new laws that I had to learn for this coming bar exam. That's true. That's a given. But there were things that I realized that I had a weak foundation on that I had a chance right now to actually work on them. So that was my experience. Law school, relationship, and life, I guess, in general. In that 5 minutes that I spoke. Yeah, something what Matthew said. Sometimes we have this obligatory goalpost. For me, I've always wanted to start a family at age 30. And I believe that obligatory goalpost was something that I felt like I wanted to pattern myself with my what my parents did. Uh, they were married at the age of, when were we?
27.
Yes, 27. Sorry. Sorry. I tried to compute it in my head, but right,
One
right.
year older
27.
than you.
I know. Wait, so I'm 28?
Oh no, I mean, you know, count back from their age right now and subtract your.
Okay. But yeah, but then I realized that I really can't control the pace, not only my pace, but also the pace of my partner. Like, would I force her also to enter into a marriage just because of this obligatory goalpost that I made onto myself? Same goes for the things I had wanted to achieve, such as becoming a lawyer, entering the foreign service, and so on and so forth. These are things that I've become a millionaire at some point. Sir Tarsh is very close to that goalpost. When I saw his bank account, it's like, oh my god,
You see my bank
is
account.
being single that much? That much? Can you save that much if you if you're single, or that? Anyways, I saw it because you asked for me to print your sal and remember I said, "Whoa!" And I kept on treating you to so many places. I was thinking, "Oh, that's why you have so much money."
Anyway,
Anyway,
parang
yeah, those goalposts. But you have to always remember that those goalposts, those milestones, are something that can always be adjusted. You always have to reflect on where you are right now and try to adjust. Goes for relationships, goes for hobbies, goes for how you treat yourself, and so on and so forth.
I think one thing that we also need to remember is that not only can they be adjusted, but we also need to remember their origin. The sense that
Yeah.
you're the one who put that goalpost there.
Mm-mm.
So in the same way, you're also free to change how it's put. Of course, if you find a goalpost and you find that it's not you who put it there, then you also have to kind of ask, is this a goalpost that I actually want to keep? So, yeah,
That's
that's
true.
something to keep.
A lot of these things kasi a lot of the stress that we feel is that we feel those goalposts were obligated upon us. Like, it's my parents' dream that I be this. My parents wanted me to become this. all my friends are doing this, therefore I should be this as well. And it blurs the things that what you really want for yourself, as opposed to what you feel like you have to be when it comes to fitting yourself in society. It's very, very hard, but it takes a lot of reflection. That's why you have to learn what to let go. It's really understanding yourself when you let go of something, because you finally understood that you're not understanding its worth is only up to this. No, you're finally able to understand what it was for what it really is, especially to you. And then you're moving on towards something that, what did you want all this time? So we're circling back to what Sir Nathan asked, was that, is letting go equal to moving on? I think for me personally, it's more on, it's a process. You go through, you can only move on if you can actually let it go. Because if you move on without letting it go, there's this cling towards it. I mean, I do have celebrity crushes that I don't want to let go of, but that's another thing. It's uh but like, let's say if it was an actual relationship that you'd be holding on and not let go, it I feel like it would be very disastrous for who you might become later on. And it would be unfair not only to you, but unfair for your future, let's say, partner. Hello? Am I still on? Hello?
Sorry. I think you're muted.
What?
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Visit. Your topic next time. Para you get more input. Anyway, so that's it. Um, I guess that's all I can. Oh, by the way, for those that are graduating, don't think of it as a, it's ending your life in Pisaya. It's ending everything in Pisaya. I know you're leaving us behind, but actually we kind of want to, something that was really nice. What happened last Friday? Sorry, last Saturday. Sir Tarcy had his battery. He had a social His social battery was drained. He needed a recharge, so he asked some of the alumni for a hangout session on his Discord channel, and it was kind of nice. We actually got all three of us brothers were able to talk with the 2020, right? They were
Yeah.
2020 alumni. We were able to catch up, ask on what's going on. They got to see my wind trace abilities and how good I was as a hunter, also as a rebel. Uh, it was fun, and it shows you that it's not really the end when it comes to these things. There's always something else that comes out from it. All right. So, Mark, anything to add? You've been
Mm.
very quiet because.
Don't worry. Next week, I'll let you wail on me.
Wait, so we have a topic next week. So this isn't our last episode.
Yeah.
But what
It,
about all those 10 viewers that were here thinking that this was the last episode?
when did I ever say it was the last episode?
Oh, I
I
said it on
mentioned
my
that we'd
Twitter
be.
pala.
I said we'd be continuing to summer, right? Except for the 3 weeks that
Okay.
I'm gone, and I give you full power over the stream.
Okay. So,
Oh, yeah. To those in chat, sorry if I couldn't really contribute because I suppose there are certain temperaments of certain people which make some issues easier. Or honestly, I wouldn't say that letting go is easier for me. It's just that it's facilitated by my temperament. Uh, I mean, things will hurt. Don't get me wrong. It's just that yeah, I suppose the process goes quicker for me than most. Which is why I think yeah, someone said earlier na yeah, having different suppose personality types or perspectives on these kinds of topics, so that were really affected differently. So yeah, As for the entire thing of letting go, I hope you guys learned a lot from Joshua, if not from me. Um, if my thing does actually help you, well, I mean, I'm surprised. If it was able to help, so again, I think I mentioned this before. These streams, and we'll probably kind of remind ourselves to remind you guys at every stream that we're not experts, we're not psychiatrists, psychologists. All we can do is offer you our experience and thoughts. Hope that you share yours and our willingness to dialogue with each other and with you guys. And hopefully that provides some kind of resolution for you. Okay, so I think that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah. So thank you guys for joining the stream. Next week we'll have another stream, which I'll see if I can make it something which Joshua can have an easier time. Ako naman
Ooh.
mahirapan.
We have suggestions. One suggestion is what was that one about comfort zone? Leaving our comfort zone.
Yeah.
That was one. One that we kept on delaying. Sorry again, I wasn't available last week because I wasn't feeling too well. Also, there's another one that I raised to Mark, but he didn't reply. I wanted to have an episode that we give our view on how this school year was on an online setup.
Actually, I think
what
that's
we hope to see.
That might be good
That's
for
a
next week kasi pagtapos na yung school year, we don't
Yeah,
bring
yeah.
up stuff before before the school year.
Something to look. I guess something for you to look for our people in chat. Oh, sana some of our students can join us as well. Like, what are the good practices that you've seen in teachers? What are the Okay, maybe we shouldn't discuss the bad practices, but what are the things that we should try to avoid maybe in this next school year? What are the new changes? What we're seeing? Oh wait, we're not allowed to. I was given a gag order. I'm not allowed to. I'm part of the admin, so I'm not allowed to say things that we're not allowed to say towards the students yet. Darn it. Okay, basta.
Maybe let's put that at the end, parang way into the future.
Yeah. No, but I kind of really wanted to have a school year review. Like, what were the high points, what were the low points, and what were the things that we were able to get through.
Okay, don't worry.
So, yeah.
We can talk about it. I'll have my mute button ready.
Please. Okay, so thank you very much for batch 2021. Happy graduation, advanced happy graduation. We hope to see you around. Will we be attending, Mark?
Well, I mean,
we don't know.
Online.
Yeah, well, I meant like I've had a. I guess that's me having a hard time moving on. That I don't attend the graduation of like batch 29, 18, 19, 2020, and maybe this time 2021. Well, let's see. But again, regardless of whether or not we're there, it's your day. So happy graduation. Happy birthday to Nina today. Happy birthday, Nina. Advance happy birthday to Sir Tarcy on Saturday.
All right. So yeah. So congrats to batch 2021. Happy birthday to Nina, and yeah. We'll see you all next week on Tarcy Talks.
You're gonna say happy birthday to myself on Saturday.
No. All right. Bye, guys. Thanks for coming.
Bye-bye.